Hey there. Happy new moon in Pisces that just passed us. My name is Trish Campbell, and I'm going to be joined by my good friend Nadine Searle, and we're going to have another one of our Love Me Chit Chats. Those are always, we always have those around the new moon just because it's a time of new beginnings, and we can be intentional with that energy if we choose to. And it's just a good time to, yeah, set that intention to ground within ourselves and use those energies around us for our benefit and for everyone's benefit. Let me see. I think Nadine is here. I'll let her in. Just give her a minute to join. There we go. Hi, Nadine.
Hello. Hello, Trish. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Can you see we've both got a bit of sunshine, haven't we?
Yes, the sun's
Lo-
peeking in right now, which feels so good. It's warm.
Lovely. Yeah, it makes a difference, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
I was just getting started, and I was just sharing that for those people that are just joining us, maybe for the first time, that we always do these around the new moon, and we have so much energy that's there for us already that we can tap into. It's the new moon in Pisces that we just peaked early this morning, last night for us here in North America. But yeah, and it's the last new moon of this astrological year setting. And it's the first new moon since we were in eclipse season, which we talked about on past chit chats, that kind of where the universe kind of maybe shakes things up a little bit to write us on our path. And now kind of like we're a little bit into that. It's the dust will still take a while to settle, but it's just feeling very I don't know about you, but I woke up this morning feeling very emotional. It's like the last degree of Pisces, and we're feeling like when a sign is at its last degree, it's holding all the energy of that sign. Plus, this is the last, we're turning a new page into Aries tomorrow. Also, Mercury is going direct. It's been retrograde for the last few weeks. And so all of these energies shifting, I'm feeling, I don't know about you, but I woke up feeling some sort of way this morning.
Yeah, I think, as you know, I never always know the reasons, but the feelings are there. And yes,
Hmm.
that kind of emotional roller coaster, maybe,
Yeah.
that up and down, and very intense.
Yep.
Whatever I'm feeling is very intense. And I've got to be honest, there's quite a lot of tiredness as well. And I
Hmm.
think that's emotional fatigue in a way as well, that there's so much emotional stuff going on that sometimes I do feel quite tired with it.
Yeah.
So, and that's fair enough, isn't it? And I think for me as well, that's a little bit of backing off a bit, a little bit of me going, I can't deal with this. It's all too much. So I'm tired.
Yeah.
That maybe, does that sort of make sense of what's going on
Yes.
planetary?
I feel that. I mean, there's everything we have going on astrologically, and then and that's energy that's in the quantum field we can't necessarily see or point to, put our
Mm,
finger on. But then we have everything that's going on in our world, in the 3D world. Like, there's it's so dense and so intense, and there's things that we're holding that we're not meant to hold. We're not meant to know every single little thing that's going on in the world. We're
mm,
meant to know what's going on in our local communities. Our bodies aren't set up to hold all of this darkness and this heaviness, and um, to have to hold all this information that is dark and heavy and emotional. It just feels, and it feels like so much all at once. And I think that's why it's so important right now to kind of let ourselves first of all feel how we're feeling and not
mm,
push it away. Like I don't know if I would say I did that this morning. I kind of just was like noticing that I was emotional, and then I let myself be emotional, but I was also like, I'm not going to let this be the energy I'm carrying through my day. I'm going to kind of reset and
mm,
set an intention to because it's a new moon too, and a
mm,
new astrological new year. And as we've talked before, and I think our last chit chat, maybe the one previous, like, we have this linear calendar that we're operating our lives to, and we're kind of conditioned to be out of rhythm with our natural circadian rhythm through that, wanting to start a brand new goal, task, new year in January when we're supposed to be hibernating like the
Mm,
rest of nature. And that this time right now, spring equinox being tomorrow, March 20th, that's the natural new year. That was
yeah.
always like celebrated as a rebirth, a renewal period. So I
Mm,
feel like what we're feeling is this culmination of everything we're going through, but also like feel it so that you can release it. That's what we always say in the work and do operate in the
yeah.
work that we do, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
know like
Yeah.
you do that as well with your clients and
Mm, mm.
myself too.
Yeah, and it is so much, and that's the thing. When I said, I feel tired, and sometimes that's a bit of me backing off a bit. I know that I do that, and I recognise it, and I will give myself a bit of that. But I'm the same as you, from that point of view of like recognising what I'm feeling. And to be
Hmm.
fair, most mornings I don't wake up properly. I wake up quite down, and then it's making that conscious decision to go, right, how am I going to do today? What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? With a bit of meditation, with a bit of positivity, with the help of nature, we can
Hmm.
do that, can't we? We don't have to hold on to that all the time. We can consciously change it if we want. We can choose. But it is important to acknowledge those feelings that are real that we started off with.
Agreed.
And quite often, as you know, personally, I go back to those sometimes on purpose. I might put them
Hmm.
away because I've got something to do or get on with things, but every now and again I will go back to what was that? I want to refeel that. And then do some of my steps, as you know, my gentle questioning and that kind of thing, and sitting with those difficult emotions, because I know how valuable they are, and we can't just push past them. They're there, they're real,
Hmm.
they've got meaning, they're there for a reason, aren't they? So it's finding that kind of balance of, sometimes it is important to put it to one side, and other times it's like, let's make sure we do really look at what that is, and what the lessons are, what the messages are, if you like,
Right.
and and they're not always bad things, are they? Quite often
No.
they're poignant kind of messages that we maybe need to hear. So it's getting that balance, and again, that comes with a almost daily practice, and whether you want to call it a spiritual practice or meditative practice or self-care, however you want to look at it, it's important to give ourselves that, isn't it? And have those tools, if you like, to use whenever we know they're going to benefit us. So that's,
Yes.
I've put quite a lot out there, but it is just,
No.
it's really just trying to find your own way, and we all do it a little bit differently, don't we? But
Yes.
you touched earlier on the chaos in the world that we have and what's going on, and you said about, we're not meant to hold all of that. That's not. And do you think? And I'm putting this as a question to you, but to everyone else as well, I'd like some comments on it.
Hmm.
Actually, is that the age that we live in? We have access to so
Yep.
much, don't we? Media, social media. It's hard to get away, isn't it? Much as we
Yep.
choose to. And years ago, generations before us didn't have all of that, so we were
Hmm.
able to be more in community. We've lost a lot of that, haven't we? Our day to day, what's happening down the road, that kind of thing. We're more involved in the bigger picture, and
Yep.
that's really quite hard for us to manage, isn't it? Maybe, like you said, we're not designed for that.
Yeah.
So that's a question I'd like to put, as a topic for another discussion, maybe. But
No, but I think, yeah.
do you think that's what
I
it is? Is we live in this world where we can have all of this media stuff blasted at us,
yes.
sometimes 24/7.
Yep.
Come on, when that's not, it's not what I want, but it's
And
hard to
it's
avoid sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. It's not what we're built for.
Mm,
Ultimately, like we love our technology, and don't get me wrong, like
mm,
we all do. And
mm,
but at the same time, it's also brought this energy of like, yeah, we know everything that's going on in the world and the
mm,
nitty-gritty details of it, and some of it is a lot of it is dark right now, and
mm.
our bodies can't hold all of that. Like
Yeah.
and so I want to back up too, and I'm answering this question and all of this because it's such
Mm,
a good question, but I want to back up to you how you said like we talked about how it's important to feel what we're feeling and how sometimes we can't maybe in the moment. But I think a lot of times what happens is we say, I will process this later, but we don't. It's like, but that
yes.
is the practice, like you said, having this daily practice, whether it's spiritual, it looks different for everybody. It's like you do what works for you, what makes you feel good, and that can change from time to time, from
Yeah.
season to
Yeah.
season. It does for
Mm,
me, but the important thing is that we're feeling and processing those emotions, because if we don't, we might think that we're escaping them. We might think that doing all these things and being busy and all that is getting rid of it. No, it's just burying it deeper within
Yeah.
us. And then it builds and builds and builds. And then
Mm.
something tragic happens in our life, or just this mass chaos that's happening right now that's collective trauma, and we can't hold it anymore. Like we kind
Yeah.
of like break because we're not set up for that, number one, and number two, we haven't processed emotion as we've been navigating it.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I think that that is so important. And I was going to tie it into something else, and now I can't remember I think it was just more around that daily practice of,
Yeah.
exploring, trying what works for you. And it
Mm.
doesn't
Mm.
have to be this big. I think, we think of all these big things like meditation and, breath work and all these things. Those are all great, but a lot of that takes time. So
Yeah.
sometimes people say, well, I don't have time to do that.
Yes. You're
But if you
absolutely
have a
right.
few minutes, you
Yeah.
start to build something and you do what works for you. Even,
Mm.
I know you had mentioned connecting with nature or whatever, like those little walks where you're going to do it anyway. So why don't you make that a practice and look at things?
Yeah.
Notice. The art of
Yeah.
noticing
Mm.
is huge in kind of bringing us back to ourselves and reminding us that, like, who we are and that we're a part of nature too, and to let
Yeah.
ourselves like flow with that cycle
Mm.
versus forcing something that's been imposed upon us through our
Yeah.
conditioning kind of thing.
Yeah, so true, isn't it? And again, it's that, and I totally hear what you're saying about this. People are a bit scared maybe of meditation. Not you didn't say it that way, but oh, I
Hmm.
haven't got time. I won't do it. I won't come back to it. I used to be like that. I'd say, oh, I'll do that later. Never do it, and you can't avoid it forever. So that's
Yeah.
why I do make a point of having my time to do that. And sometimes it takes time. Sometimes I want it to take time, but like you say, it doesn't have to. I can just put my hands on my heart center. I don't know if people can see it, but that's what I'm doing. And actually just tune into me for a few breaths, and sometimes that's enough. I don't need to
Yes.
understand it. I don't need to go into a long-winded practice. It's just coming back to me. Grounding, we lots of us know about that and do it. Connect with the ground, the earth beneath us. Feel supported, feel safe. That really helps in the moment, doesn't it? those
Yeah.
kinds of those kind of little practices that are very, very simple. And also, like I was saying earlier, come away from the big picture of things and connect with a neighbour, maybe connect with something
Yes.
that's close by. Community is, as I say, I don't know what it's like in your part of the world, but in my part of the world, we are losing those natural
Yes.
things. Going to the shops every day and going to a little shop and talking to the butcher, the baker, and all that kind of thing. People don't do those things anymore, and we miss it. We're
Yep.
losing, in our supermarkets, we're losing the people on the tills. We haven't got that connection, so that's not
Hmm.
there naturally for us. So we're caught up in this whole world that we watch maybe through gadgets and, like you say, technology, which is wonderful. Thankfully we wouldn't be doing this without it, would we? So, but
Hmm.
we're losing that, maybe the simpler
I
connections and,
agree.
and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So it's finding those if you can, and it's not that easy in some communities to find that. But like you say, the nature is always there. It is always there, and we have we have spring arriving in
I
in our
know.
in our little part of the planet at the moment, and
Yes.
so, oh my goodness, how grateful am I for that reminder. It happens every year, but I still forget.
Yep.
And it just helps. You said earlier the spring equinox, and this is my feeling, and I know you feel the same. So this is the new year. This is when I can start to feel all those things that I was told to feel in January.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
and I don't feel them. Then I'm starting to feel it now because of the nature, because of what nature is showing me and giving me.
Yep.
And I love that, all the plants that are coming, the little bit of sunshine and a little bit of warmth that you're feeling. I'm feeling, noticing things that are changing, and I'm so grateful because I need that. And I can't spring into action, literally. It is springtime, until that happens. Can't make it
Exactly.
happen. But some people aren't noticing even that. They're not noticing the signs of nature, the
Right.
daylight getting a little bit longer, and birds singing, and it's a different kind of song they're singing now. They're
It
nesting.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I love
Love
that. And it's
that. Yep.
and what do we call it? People, it's a term that I've only recently heard. Glimmers.
Glimmers,
You know,
yes.
noticing those, like, you know, that there's a little glim, there's a little moment of joy, and so we can all do that. We can all tap it. You can't go anywhere, even if you're in a busy city, and not see some new buds forming or
Right.
something. You know, you are going to see that now, and again, the color coming out and everything. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I just say to everyone, use what nature just gives us. You know, happily
I
gives us.
agree. And that,
And
yeah,
yeah,
through
go on.
that, you're reminding me of what I was, the other point I was connecting to, and so beautifully that it always flows this way. But yeah, like all of these things, giving ourselves that time to kind of slow down and take care of ourselves in whatever way that that we do, this grounding that we're talking about,
Mhm.
like that is our, like taking care of our energy, our energetic bodies, because
Mhm.
we're holding a lot energetically, but also that impacts our physical body. And we know that we hold emotions in the physical body. It's around a lot of the energy work that we
Mhm.
do.
Mhm.
And what is so important, what I wanted to connect this to, is like holding all of this that's going on in the world right now. Like it affects our nervous system. And that's something that we also can't really see, but it's just part of who we are. And
Mhm.
so these grounding practices, or like noticing the bird song or whatever, taking a, like just kind of soaking up the sun or whatever it might be, those moments are what kind of reset our nervous system. And that
Yes.
is important in all of this too. Like we're not just doing this, it's not just a spiritual practice we're talking about. Because I know a lot of people are like funny about that word, or because
Mhm.
it's you know kind of been hijacked around religion and all of that. But we are spiritual beings. We are, you know, meant to have a connection with ourself. And like you spoke to, the sense of loss of community and that connection.
Mhm.
First, we've, you know, been kind of conditioned to be disconnected from ourselves. And now through technology and all that, we're slowly losing that connection with each other. And that's why it's so important for us to have these practices for ourselves. Like we need to take care of ourselves first, and then that extends out into our relationships, or allows us the ability, the capacity to build
Yeah.
and maintain, sustain relationships with each
Yeah.
other and build that community.
Yeah.
And I think because we're so overwhelmed with everything that's going on, it's kind of like we feel like, what can I do? Like I'm kind of, you know, and that's,
Yes.
I think,
Yes.
intentional. Like we're meant
I,
to feel disempowered
yes.
in that.
I think there is a bit of that, isn't there? We feel that we can't change anything, we can't do
Hmm.
anything. We feel the fear of that, and we feel very small in that way, don't we? And
Exactly.
I think, you know, I have no real idea, but again, it's a feeling, you know, that maybe the chaos that's going on in the world, if it is controlled, if it's done on purpose at all, who knows? Um, I do feel that that is a kind of, let's make everyone feel chaotic, and then things can go on. You know, maybe that
Hmm.
is being done on purpose, to a degree. I really don't know for definite, but that's my sort of feeling to it. And I'm going, right, okay, I've noticed that. That could be what's happening. I'm not playing. I'm not buying into that. You know,
Exactly.
I want to go my way. And I really think that's quite important. Again, if you notice yourself, and I'm saying this to everybody, if you
Yep.
notice yourself getting caught up in this drama, this chaos, this fear, just notice it. And actually, again, like you said about, you know, when you start your day, we have a choice how we
Hmm.
carry on. We have a choice if we stay with that, or whether we go, actually, no, I'm going to go and listen to the birds. I'm going to do whatever, you know, because that gives you that peace. Like you say, it resets your nervous system. There's
Yep.
scientific proof of that, isn't there? I can't talk about it because I don't understand it enough, but I feel it again. So it is so wonderful to have all these things. And as I say, I love the fact that every year it comes around again, and it's still like it's new to me. I go, oh, here we go.
Hmm.
I'd
Yeah.
forgotten it's happened. It was only a year ago, you know, and it happens all the time. And I just go, and it is, thank you, Mother Nature. That's the way I look at it, for giving me this again. I need it. I need the reminder, that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and I love, actually, you reminded me then when you were talking about the things we can do. Um, the nettles are starting to grow, the stinging nettles.
Oh,
I love so
yeah.
much. I see them pop up, and I get so excited when I see them, because everybody knows I love nettle tea.
Yes.
And it's the little shoots at the top that you pick, and you make your
Hmm.
nettle tea. So for me, again, that's an invitation for me to go, here we go, you know, do this. And for me to take a bit of time, because to make my nettle tea, to pick them in the first place, I connect with nature. I talk to the nettles. I go, is it okay to pick you? And I feel the ones that are okay to be picked come forwards. You know, sounds a bit
Yeah.
crazy, but that's the way.
Love
That's what I
it.
do. And then so I pick a few little, just the little bits at the top, and then I come home because I do that on my doggy walk. And then I come home, and then it's like I'm going to make my tea. So it's a ritual. It
Yeah.
slows me down. It connects me, and then I will purposely sit and enjoy my nettle tea.
I
And I
love
think
it.
again, that's a gift, isn't it? That is
It
a gift,
is.
and all the properties of nettles. You know how the vitamins that are there, the health properties, but also the connection of as you know, I've got a guided meditation about that we use nettles, and it's that balance and boundaries. And
Hmm.
don't we need that at the moment? You know,
We
it's that
do, for
kind of
sure.
thing. So I have all those memories, and again, that actually doesn't take a lot of time. I've said that
It,
I make it a ritual, and it doesn't have to take. It's having a nice cup of tea, you know,
yeah,
and a little break. So I love that. So thank you for reminding me about that. I have
yeah, of
had my first
course.
nettle tea of the year, and it's something that I would encourage everyone to do. Find something that we can
Yeah,
do this time of year. Yeah.
I love that. And it's just like there's such beauty in the simplicity of that. And I don't
Yeah.
think we think about it until we're in the moment and we realize
Yes.
like how much
Mm,
joy you can get just from like a
mm,
moment like that, picking your own like leaves and then making tea and making that like a
mm,
ritual, like and
mm.
honoring yourself in that. Like it's
Yes.
so like that is like I love the slowness and the softness and just the love and care for yourself in that. And
Yeah.
I think that and it reminds me of like these all these things that we can do, like why we started talking about this, like that allows us to like we just feel so much better when we're doing like these things for ourselves. And that's not to say like
Mm,
life is ebb and flowing all the time, but
all the time.
and it reminds me of like why we wanted to talk about this topic in the first place or like because we've had conversations or you and I have with other people about like it feels kind of weird to be like focusing on our dreams and our goals and shining our light so to speak in these times when there's so much destabilization in the
Yeah.
world
Mm,
and like but we need to continue to
mm,
pour into that and to like we all are here for to drive forward to advance our purpose and to like first uncover what that is and that can evolve over time. There's not just one purpose and there can be multiple simultaneously as well, but it's to allow ourselves to still do these things that empower us, like all these little like simple moments that we give ourselves are what fuel us and fill us up to be able to shine that light, to be able to keep going,
yeah.
to not retreat in this time,
Mm,
which is
mm,
what I think, a lot of who they are want us to retreat and give in and succumb and be disempowered even like further. And yeah, I mean, there's so much to say around that, but I feel like that is um like what prompted this conversation. And if you don't, and I also like when I'm thinking of this, I think about like when I wrote my book Love Me, which is like what we centered these
yes,
conversations
is what this is all
around,
about. Yeah.
which I so appreciate you like bringing that idea. So we've been doing this it's been over 4 years, going on
Hmm.
5. And it sparked from you saying like I want to talk about some of the themes in this book and how
Mm,
great, like we don't get to do that often with a book that we read, to talk about the author and what's behind this
yeah.
and to process what we're reading. I mean, we have book clubs and all of that, but and so today I was thinking of like we talked about maybe sharing something, and I happened to open my book
Yeah.
up to a page, and I dog-eared it here so I could find it quickly. And I would like to share something if I could,
I
because I feel like
I
it's
would love that.
connected and at the
Yeah.
root of everything we're talking about. So just bear
I
with me.
I would love to. And while you're finding that, then I'll just say, you know, the books Love Me, because there's more than one, there's poetry as well, but your book that started all of this and gave us this way forward and lots of ideas of how to love yourself, isn't it? I use it as a Bible. I dip in and out and everything. So what you've just described as I was looking and this spoke to me, that's
Hmm.
exactly how I love to use it. And there's passages in there that you read and you just go, that's exactly what I need to hear at the moment. So
Oh,
so,
yeah.
so if you found one today, then please do share it with us. I would love to hear what you found for us today.
Thanks, Nadine. And it's funny because I went to go grab my book and I opened up to this page and I was going to brush past it because I typically want to like share poetry. But then I was like, wait, let me read this. And I'm like, oh, this opened for a reason. And I feel like what you just explained, like there's
Mm,
always messages will get to us when as we need them in whatever way
yeah,
we're able to receive them. So
yeah. Please
Um,
do.
this is just a little passage from the prologue of Love Me, the original. I'll hold it up.
Lovely.
Um,
Beautiful.
this is about owning all that we are, all that drives and empowers us, whether it is within our control or not. When we are very young, we believe everything is about us. We are defenseless and are in need of protection, to feel and embody a sense of security. We are oblivious to our conditioning as it's happening, of all the stories we are told by others, of the somebody that we are. We grow to be more of that somebody because that somebody has begun to feel accepted, loved, and therefore protected. It isn't until well into adulthood that many of us awaken to our societal and cultural conditioning. When we start to ask ourselves the question, how did I get here? Or who am I? What I experienced in my childhood and adolescence, and even in the womb, I would later come to realize, is ultimately shaped who I'd become. I was driven by a hunger for the approval of everyone around me. I learned to take direction from everything outside of me because as long as I was accepted or seen as good, I felt loved. Eventually, the light that I came into this world with had been dimmed so that I could fit in. Dimming that light was the price I paid to feel loved. Focusing externally rather than internally pulls us further away from answering or even hearing the intuitive messages that our soul is speaking to us. Those ideas and dreams that are sparked from within us are the soul speaking its desire for us to act out, to walk our path to self actualization. And
Mm.
that's from the prologue. And I just feel like that spoke to me today and reminded me of like why I even wrote this, why I'm on
Mm.
this path of
Mm.
kind of unlearning and relearning and um yeah,
Yeah.
and just remembering that we all have that light within us that we've kind of dimmed at one point or another. And
Yeah.
like so to dim our light right now and it just because the world is unstable and on fire
Mm.
literally.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah. That was so moving. So thank you for reading that. It's lovely to hear you read your words. It's really
Mm,
special. But you're so right, and that is, yeah, people needed to hear that today. When they listen to the replay, they will get it. And it is right. And you said I'm not sure if I'm going to quote you exactly correctly, but dimming your light so that you will fit in and be loved and
hmm.
that kind of thing. I think at the moment as well, we might be dimming our light because we're frightened.
Exactly. Yeah.
If we don't put our head above the pulpit kind of thing, we're safe. We're trying to stay safe by dimming
Hmm.
our light. Maybe, I don't know. I feel that a little bit. Don't rock
Yeah.
the boat kind of thing. This world, like you say, is unstable at the moment. I feel that anyway. So if I stay under the radar, so to speak, dim my light, then I'll be safer. And yes, there is a way that dim your light, fit in because you want the love and to be accepted, but also in that you might feel that you're staying safe by dimming
Yeah.
your light as well. So it has a lot more meaning than maybe when you just wrote it. You wrote
I
it
think so. Yeah.
referring to one thing, but actually it can relate to other things too, can't it? So the fact that that spoke to you today, and the fact that you shared it with us all is very, very meaningful, isn't it? Because it was meant to be read out loud, definitely today. So thank
Mm.
you for sharing that. So you showed everyone the wonderful book that started these conversations. And then you've got something exciting to tell us as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
What you're doing
Well,
with your book.
um, yeah, just thank you for all of that and thank you for letting me read that. And I agree. I feel like those words are kind of timeless and have take on a different meaning right now. And just that sense of like safety and security that we're talking about today,
Mm,
like we can give to ourselves through those giving ourselves those moments.
yeah.
But yes, exciting. Like always part of the plan with Love Me was to have an ebook, like Kindle version of it. And it took me 4.5 years because I kind of, had other things going on. And And then I finally moved both books, Love Me Poetry and the OG Love Me, over to Amazon, and thought, well, now is the time to birth the ebook. So that is launching tomorrow. It's available for pre-order still right now at a limited promotional price, or promotional price for a limited time.
Mm.
And um, you can find ways to buy that on my profile, and it's available on Amazon worldwide. So you don't have to have a Kindle to read it. You can get the Kindle app, I guess, on any device. So
Yeah,
that's also
yeah,
important to note. And somebody reached out to me and said, like, they had ordered, they don't have a Kindle or don't read electronically like that, but they just bought a paperback, which they hadn't before. And they said they wish they bought it sooner. And
there you go.
so
There
I don't like to always, like, it feels weird, pumping that up, but it's
you go.
like, I've heard that a lot. Like you said, people have opened it, or you've opened it up and just found what you needed to hear. And I've
Yeah,
heard that from other people too.
yeah,
So this message, and it's not just it's my story, but it's meant to be shared with everybody, because you can all draw parallels from in your own lives to
so
this.
much.
And
Yes,
we're not meant to carry grief, pain, wounds forever.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
that's why I wrote it.
definitely,
So thank you for
definitely. And
letting me have the space
oh,
to
I'm
share
so
about that.
glad. I'm so glad you wrote it. I mean, it is really, you can read the book all the way through. It's a story. It's your life,
Yep.
isn't it? But there's a lot, like you say, people can draw parallels. I haven't been through exactly what you've been through, but when I read it, I get going, oh, that's me. I get that. I get that. So, and as I say, I haven't dedicatedly read it from front to back. I dip in and out. I've read it all, but not in necessarily the right order. But that's okay. I get it. I get it. But I do feel it's so lovely that you are reigniting it, if you like, because as you
Hmm.
say, we've been doing these chit chats about your book for a long time now.
Yep.
So people might listen to these chit chats and not even know where it all stemmed from. So we can encourage people to go out and buy, like you say, if they want the paperback copy or the ebook version, and have a look and see what we're talking about and actually get the feelings that we get from it. Because I would encourage everybody to, definitely, whatever shape or form works for you, get hold of the book. You will learn from it. You will feel what you need to feel through it,
Mm.
and it's a wonderful thing. And as I say, I have it sitting there. I've got all the copies. I haven't got the e-copy actually, because that's in my little mind. I go, oh, technology, but I'll get there. But I've got the paperbacks, and I do use them like that. They're there. I dip in and
Hmm.
out all the time. Exactly what you just described today. They're there to talk to me and help me and everything. So I encourage everybody to do the same. So, like you say, they can get them from Amazon, can't they? You've got this special limited offer on your ebook as well, haven't you? So there's no
Yes.
excuse for people not to get hold of a copy, is there now? So that's a
Yeah.
really
And it's a good accessible way to gift it to somebody too, who you might know
yes,
that's
of
like moving
course,
through grief, because it
yeah,
starts off with that chapter of grief. And
mm.
yeah, so thank you so
That's
much for sharing that. And
yeah,
I do feel like this kind of renewal around that as I step into, kind of,
mm.
I had said this is my story. It was my story. It's still always a part of me, but I feel like I'm embarking on this new chapter now, and literally another new project. So I'm
Yeah,
excited to
yeah,
be talking about that soon. And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and just appreciate all of the support that everyone has given, including and
Mm.
especially you, Nadine, for always like
Oh,
just, yeah,
my
sharing
pleasure.
so beautifully. And I appreciate you so much that we get
Um,
to do this together, especially, but just everything we get to do together.
Yeah, it's developed into its own kind of thing, hasn't it? But
Yeah.
it all stemmed from you writing your lovely books, and I just feel that's so important, and I'm so grateful. But I think what you just said, I want to pick up on again, to gift to someone. What a
Hmm.
wonderful thing! If someone gifted me your book, I would be forever grateful, because I'd actually be going, oh my God, I didn't. You don't know, that you how much you're going to benefit from it. So if you've already read it yourself and you've benefited, then yes, pass that on to someone else. I think that's a lovely idea,
Hmm.
because people might, look at the book and go, I don't really know what that's about. It's maybe not for me. But someone who's already read it, I can think of straight away lots of people I could gift it to. And I know it would help them. So
Hmm.
definitely, that's a lovely way to look at it. We can gift the book as well.
Yeah.
So I'm
Thank you. Yeah.
very excited for you, shining brightly, literally, where you are. And I know you're not comfortable doing that, but you did it, and that's wonderful. So I'm really,
Yeah.
really pleased. So
Thank you
yeah,
so
and like,
much. And yeah, I also want
mm,
to say, like, Yeah, I going back to like just the gratitude I have for you and you the way yeah that you've supported me in my own healing with your we talked about you mentioned your calmer self method. I remember doing gentle questioning with you and how like powerful that was, and it seems so simple but it was like just a pivotal point in my healing journey, and like that should be shared as well. So people can find you and your beautiful work and all of that on YouTube, correct? Like all of your
I always,
meditations.
yeah, I always say that's the best place to sort of dip in and out of my stuff. YouTube, which is the Calm Myself YouTube channel, Calm
Mhm.
Myself Coach, I think it is. So thank you for that. And of course, all of our chit chats go on there, so you can have a look
Yes.
and dip in. And actually, you can just pick one. You know, we
Hmm.
talk about lots of different topics, and you could pick one that speaks to you, and you'll get the words of wisdom, and you'll get some help in that way. But so, like we say, your books are on Amazon. But again, you've supported me with your spiritual healing and your lovely Reiki and everything. So on your website, people
Yes.
can find out more about that, can't they? And maybe
Yes, they
sort of
can. This
you.
is
So
trishcampbell.com. Yep.
brilliant, brilliant. So we can be found, can't we? We're out
Yes,
there.
we can. Yep.
We're shining our light. We're not dimming.
Yes.
In this
In this,
chaotic world, we are
yeah.
shining brightly. So we
Yeah. And taking
so
care of ourselves too.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So yeah. So thank you so much. This has been, as always, beautiful, beautiful conversation. I'm so grateful and
Yeah.
very excited for you and excited for the spring
For
we
new
are in.
spring energy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you,
thank you.
everyone who's watching this live or the replay. We would love to hear from you in the comments as well when we share
Definitely.
the replay. And if you want us to talk about something specific, we're always open to
Mm,
that too. But we always seem to find the next topic just
there's always
naturally.
something,
So,
yeah.
yeah, thank you for joining us. And until next time, be well.
Thank you.